My Hero Academia is a manga and anime series that blew up in popularity around 2019, if I remember correctly. That's when I first got into it and when I started seeing a lot of content around it, specifically on TikTok. If I had to give an explanation as to why My Hero got as big as it did, I'd say it's probably a mix of the boys being attractive and the world being unique enough to make for a new, interesting story, but not too unique so that nobody knows what's going on. It's also incredibly open-ended and infinite in the amount of stories and characters you can create because of the diversity in the power system in the story, which are called quirks. A quirk is an individual's power set. Oftentimes it changes them physically, and it can be trained and refined, and sometimes you can unlock new abilities which allows it to fit seamlessly into the shonen story formula. Some of the most recognizable quirks are explosion, fire, invisible, coat hanger, monkey. As you can see, there is an extremely wide array of power sets, which also invites a lot of creativity. If you were a hero, what kind of power would you get? Plenty of people have answered this question by making My Hero OCs of their own. Some of them are very original and interesting, but a lot of them are just pretty girl shipped with Bakugou or Todoroki or Midoriya, which no hate to anybody like that, because I too have fallen into pretty girl with powerful quirk that does not change her physically other than minor facial markings or unnaturally colored hair or eyes, who is in a relationship with Bakugou and or Todoroki and or Midoriya.
God damn it! Which
My Hero Academia OCs
are you? We can't possibly all be.
pretty girl with white or black or pink hair.
It is not mathematically possible. Somebody needs to be that stupid.
Not conventionally attractive student of any class other than 1A.
There's also been an influx of AI My Hero OCs that are even more homogenous than My Hero OCs normally are, which is saying a lot. I talked about my original My Hero OC from 2019 in my self-shipping video, which checked off every single sinful box that you can check. Overpowered quirk that doesn't affect her conventionally attractive looks, check. Sympathetic backstory, check. Has Bakugou / Todoroki / Midoriya in love with her? She gets 3 checks for all 3 of them. So, while I don't normally make discussion videos because those require scripting and depth and coherent thought, I thought it would be fun to talk about my experience in the My Hero Academia fandom and what I think about all of it, because everyone wants to know the opinion of some guy on the internet. Don't care, didn't ask is not in my vocabulary. But what I do care, did ask about is this video's sponsor, Milanote. I am legitimately not exaggerating when I say that Milanote has changed the way that I make my videos. Because I primarily do character design, it is really beneficial for me to have a mood board of characters or pictures that are inspiring the design that I'm making, and Milanote is hands down one of the best planning tools I've ever used. If for some reason you've never heard of it, Milanote is the perfect tool for organizing creative projects. It's a customizable workspace allowing you to drag and drop pictures, text, color palettes. I've even gone overboard with a bunch of GIFs. It's like an infinitely customizable digital bulletin board, making it insanely easy to consolidate all of your ideas into one place. Since in this video I'll be drawing my own My Hero Academia OC, I decided to use Milanote to plan out their redesign. And I feel like this board for Cure Comet specifically illustrates how versatile Milanote is, because as you can see, I have text, color palettes, pictures, captions, videos, entire paragraphs, and if I need to move any of it around or move it to a new board, I can just drag to select and then just drop it into a new place. And as you can see, what could have been multiple pages or documents worth of planning was able to be easily consolidated into one Milanote board. If you find yourself struggling with where to begin, Milanote has tons of pre-made templates for you to use, with templates for everything from productivity to schoolwork to logo design to creative direction. Pretty much any possible project you could be working on, Milanote has a template for you to get started. Designing and planning is so much less daunting now that I have a tool that can adapt to my design needs, whether I'm designing something complex or something simple. Plus, whenever I'm ready to share or if I just want to show my friends, Milanote allows you to share a simple link to your board that your friends don't even need an account to view. I highly recommend Milanote for all artists or anybody who does any sort of planning, especially if you're interested in making your own character designs, because Milanote will make the planning process feel like a breeze. When you want to get started with Milanote, which I highly recommend that you do, click the link at the top of the description or in the pinned comment. All of these great features are 100% free, so there's no commitment and it's super easy to get started. Thank you so much to Milanote for continuing to support the channel. And now, a bit of a spoiler warning. In case it wasn't obvious, this video will contain spoilers for the My Hero Academia anime, so you have been warned. And in order to make this do better than the algorithm, I've put all my notable talking points into an internet-friendly numbered list. Bullet point number 1. Why so dramatic? My Hero Academia self-insert OCs tend to have some of the most YA novel alpha male X not like other girls TV drama storylines that I have ever seen in any fandom. Possibly my favorite video on the entire internet is "Hey UA! BAKUGOU KATSUKI is not a monster!" which has like a slowed and reverb version of Latch by Sam Smith playing dramatically in the background to emphasize that if this were an actual moment in the show, this would be groundbreaking and character defining, and edits would be made of it, and it is completely serious. And the worst part is that there are so many moments like this in canon, so it's not even a stretch.
It's yours! Your quirk, not his!
No! Tell me! What's on your mind? Your hopes, your fears, everything!
Everyone is so dramatic, and I eat it up. It is so entertaining. I think that this is a very large, appealing factor of why people make My Hero OCs. Because why have normal conversations that move the story when you could have yelling matches full of emotion and depth that move the story forward? Everyone, myself included, has a playlist of songs to make animated music videos in their brain too that are dramatic and existential and way too serious, and My Hero Academia is like an entire 7-season TV show just full of moments like that. And everybody wanted to be in on that action. Imagining yourself as a strong, dramatic protagonist trying to get through to a friend or a villain with banger one-liners like,
Then I'll give you as much blood as you want, because I still want to talk about love with you! Baby, go!
Is just a lot of fun, even if it's extremely cringy. Bullet point number 2. If I'm in Class 1A, and you're in Class 1A, then who's flying the plane? 9 out of 10 My Hero OCs are in Class 1A, which is the class that all of the main characters of the show are in, which is understandable. No one wants to write about being in the other class while Midoriya and Bakugou are doing whatever this is. But each class at UA has a capacity of 20, and there's already 20 students in Class 1A. So the 2 students I see booted the most often are Hagakure, who doesn't really serve any purpose in the story, and Mineta, for obvious reasons. There's barely any OCs ever placed into any course other than the hero course, like the support or general courses. Me personally, I would be in the business course, in my opinion. Mostly because those courses are for boring normal people, but we also don't know a lot about them or the students in them, so there's less motivation to make things up rather than just go with what's already been given to us in Class 1A. Plus, the hero course is very prestigious and is full of the best students in Japan, supposedly. So putting your OC in the hero course automatically in the story implies them to be capable, decently strong, at least a little smart, etc. So that's character traits that have already been given to them that you don't have to come up with yourself. Plus, Class 1A does a lot more interesting stuff than the supposedly identical Class 1B, let alone the other courses. Class 1A is attacked at the USJ, Class 1A is highlighted at the sports festival, Class 1A is attacked at the training camp, Class 1A puts on a My Little Pony Equestria Girls Rainbow Rocks Magic of Friendship performance at the school festival. Who would want to put their OC in any of the other classes to just watch these events take place from the outside? Plus, all the cute boys are in Class 1A. I can say that, I watched the show when I was 13. Though, we all know who the cutest boy is. Bullet point number 3. My name is Ebony Darkness Dementia Raven Way, and I have long ebony black hair. That's how I got my name. There's a very specific yet predictable majority of My Hero OCs who are pretty girls with long hair and perfect bodies and pretty eyes with, as previously mentioned, little to no physical effects of their quirks on their body. But somehow, their quirk is stronger than Midoriya's and Todoroki's and Bakugou's and also All Might and All For One. And I just want to say, there's nothing wrong with OCs like that. You're completely free to make whatever you want, and I'm all about promoting the to be cringe is to be free mentality. That being said, there's a My Hero Academia Bakugou x Todoroki x Midoriya x reader that I read in like 2019 where YN, that's the insert for the reader, your name, was the daughter of All Might and the 10th holder of One For All, even though she was born before Midoriya received One For All, which would make her the 9th holder, but whatever. So she had all of the quirks in One For All, plus elemental manipulation, so fire, water, earth, and air. And I also want to say she had telekinesis, but I may have hallucinated that. So all in all, she had 13 different powers. And just a side note, I want to know so badly what the Hey Yue girl's power is supposed to be, because she removes Bakugou's chains in this scene. Is it metal manipulation? Normally appearances correspond to quirk, but her hair is pink. Anyways, despite what the internet would have you believe, making your OC overpowered and stronger than everyone is not a crime punishable by death. My OC is a genetic clone of All For One designed to be the next holder of his quirks, who has also been infused with many other light-related quirks to form the power known as light manipulation that is powerful enough to turn around and defeat All For One in the end. So don't talk to me about overpowered, because I know overpowered. That Shadow the Hedgehog ultimate life form crap. Is it done to death? Absolutely. Do I still eat it up every time? Of course I do. Bullet point number 4. Not now, kitten! Daddy's cyberbullying! Probably my favorite thing about My Hero OCs, mine included, is the blatant mischaracterization of whichever character they're shipped with. This most often happens with Bakugou, but also happens with Todoroki, Dabi, Midoriya, and I've even seen mischaracterization of All Might, which is an attack on me personally, cause how dare you try and take my man and have the audacity to say that he's dominant and rough. You don't understand him like I do. And this happens in all fandoms, and I mean all fandoms. But I have never seen the mischaracterization be so widespread and mainstream like it is in the My Hero Academia fandom, especially with Bakugou. In the show, Katsuki Bakugou is aggressive, egotistical, competitive, extremely violent, and barely gets along with anyone. But in probably 99% of the cases in which an OC is shipped with Bakugou, he is mischaracterized into a tough on the outside, soft on the inside bad boy who loves his queen, and God help anyone who disrespects his queen. He's essentially turned into a tsundere, it's not like I like you, Baka type, which is definitely a choice. I fell victim to this mentality between 2019 and 2020 before I discovered the real love of my life was a completely different blonde. And I think it's so funny how we can really like and be attached to a character and still completely mess them up into an unrecognizable YA novel love interest. Can somebody write a 20-page long thesis on this and get their PhD in the mischaracterization of anime characters? Please? One thing that I don't think I want to touch on is but I think it's a pretty big elephant in the room. The My Hero anime started airing in 2016 when I was 11, but I didn't start watching until 2018 when I was 13, making me 2 to 3 years younger than the students in Class 1A. I was 13 when I made my first Class 1A aged OC to ship with another student, specifically Bakugou, Todoroki, and Midoriya, which most would consider completely acceptable. Fast forward to now, however, I'm 19, and the characters in Class 1A, in the anime at least, are still canonically between 15 and 17. If I made a self-insert to ship with Bakugou or Midoriya or Todoroki, especially as they appear in the earlier seasons, which I'm more nostalgic for, that would be a little weird, right? Especially if the stuff I'm drawing or writing is romantic, bordering on you know, because I'm an adult. But the My Hero fandom in particular has had a strange problem with aging up characters, specifically so they can be depicted in inappropriate artworks. When it comes to aging up characters just to draw not safe for work art of them, I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't know, I think you're a little weird because those are high schoolers. They're taking the SAT. I don't know. Bullet point over. Bullet point number 5. We all like old men now. Maybe it's just that we are all literally getting older, or maybe it's just the circles that I tend to run in, but I've been seeing a lot more people shipping their characters with Aizawa or Hawks or Shigaraki more than any of the students, which is good because I don't really have any interest in any of the students, except for Ida, but I think that I'm biased. And I'm 19 now, so 3 to 4 years older than any of the students in Class 1A. And looking back at Bakugo now, you can find someone who fancies pretty much any character from anything, not just My Hero Academia. My friend Tansy likes Sero, my friend Mari likes Ojiro, my friend Carrie likes Shigaraki.
Did someone say Ojiro?
No.
Like Ojiro Mashiro?
I wasn't done talking.
AKA my favorite character that nobody cares about in this whole world.
I wasn't done yet.
Because I may know something about that. Anyway, open my Twitter or whatever, you can see it's a bit of an addiction, and this had its start all the way back in the year 2020. Anyway, if you don't know me, hi, I'm Mario Octawinks, and I am no newcomer to the idea of My Hero Academia OCs or self-inserts because I have both. And, you know, I just want to make some comments about just creating OCs and what I've noticed. And yeah, while OCs are meant to be fun and just get you a part of like this My Hero universe, just like how Lucky said, it can be really easy to kind of fall into the Mary Sue kind of OC that's just like pretty girl or really like attractive guy who's really, really powerful. But you know, why don't we add some like depth to their character, right? And there's a really cool way you guys can do this that a lot of people forget about. And yes, it is the inclusion of heteromorph characters in this series. And if you're not familiar with the term heteromorph, hey, that's okay. It's basically like any character that has like some sort of non-human characteristic that is either due to their quirk or they just have it on their body. And you know, sometimes it's a scene sometimes in like a kitsune character or a character like that just has animal ears. And you know, realistically, this character would not be like experiencing any type of discrimination due to this quirk or factor in their character design, so I wouldn't really consider this to be heteromorph in the traditional sense of the My Hero universe. So like a better example of this is like Shoji. And if you see in the later series, you know his backstory and all that. And it's like, with something with such nuance included into the series, you think there would be more inclusion with characters that kind of have this backstory and kind of deal with this kind of issue. But you know, sadly that's not the case, and I barely ever see any heteromorph characters. And it's sad because like the most I'll see is like, oh, like a girl with like, you know, animal ears and a tail, which that's fine if you want to do that, but it's like, that's been done a million times. And it's like, if you want to create a really compelling and really awesome OC in My Hero, why don't you just take it the extra route and write a heteromorph character? Because there's not a lot of them, and it's an easy way to execute a really compelling character. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, if you guys look on the screen right now, I'm gonna be doing a speed paint of my character, Sei Kamakiri. And you know, I actually drew her, and I had no idea that there's actually another character in Class 1B that has the last name Kamakiri. But we're gonna ignore that because I didn't even know. But anyway, her quirk is Mantis, and she's really cute, right guys? It's not that hard to create a really compelling and adorable, like, heteromorph character. You just have to know where to take them, and plus, you can really play around with different features and making them really, really unique. So if you want your character to not feel so copy-paste from everyone else, and not be just like, you know, generic girl with long hair and pretty eyelashes and really powerful quirk, you could make them a heteromorph. That's a really good option, I'm just saying. And you know, take this all with a grain of salt. I'm not saying that I'm better than you, I'm not saying that I'm better than anyone else, because I can't write a freaking character. I'm sorry, she's just visual for now. I don't have any backstory for her, so yeah. But I just feel like it's a really big shame that not a lot of people integrate these characters into their universes or their My Hero Academia OCs, because there is just so much to work with in terms of the unconventional characters in My Hero, which can range from characters like Ojiro to characters like Shoji or Tokoyami, and you can just do a lot with them. So I'm just really hoping that there is so much to do to diversify your character designs and make really fun characters that nobody has ever seen before, because they can literally be based off anything, and that is the best part. Like, literally any stupid power that your brain can imagine, probably someone has it in the My Hero universe, so why not write it? So go have fun, write the silliest character ever, and maybe they will become your favorite. Anyway, that's all I gotta say, and thanks Lucky for having me on here, and bye!
Wow, anyways, I don't know who that was. I'm just kidding. Thank you so much to Mari for agreeing to be in this video. Bullet point number 6. This is the part where I talk about myself. As previously mentioned, I have my own My Hero Academia OC, one that you've been watching me draw this whole time. Their name is Cure Comet. They're a pro hero, and they work at UA as an assistant teacher. And as true Lucky Stars know, and people who watch this video with their eyes open, they are shipped with All Might. Dedicated inkiio viewer Gotcha Love 5318 has been commenting on almost every single one of my videos. Day X of commenting, inkiio, drop more Lucky Might and my life is yours. And I just want to say, Gotcha Love 5318, this part of the video is for you. Every single point I've talked about in this video applies to my OC. They're dramatic and overpowered and super important to the story and super attractive and everybody loves them. If you want the general overview of this character, I would recommend going to watch my original self-insert video. It's about 2 years old now and it definitely looks like it. It's my most viewed video, which is crazy. It has over 1 million views now, which is insane. Oh my goodness. But I talk a lot about this character in that video, so go watch that. If you don't know who this is Lucky, aka Mitsuo Akari, aka Cure Comet. Lucky is their real name, Mitsuo Akari is their alias, Cure Comet is their hero name. Moving on. As I mentioned earlier in the video, and I was being completely real with you, Lucky is a genetic clone of All For One, created by him to be a super weapon in the event that he was killed by All Might, so that they could take his place and kill All Might and destroy One For All. Which, saying it out loud to my audience of almost 100,000 people is a little crazy, and I know that I'm gonna get clowned on for this. I needed an explanation as to why Lucky was so horrendously overpowered that wasn't them coming from another universe, which was their original backstory. I'm not messing with you. And so basically, like he did for Shigaraki, All For One took this kid who didn't have anywhere else to go and essentially just stripped them down to the bare functions of a human being, and then injected them with a bunch of quirks like a Nomu. The reason why Lucky isn't mutated like a Nomu is I don't know. I don't know the reason. Maybe they originally had a quirk that's like a stockpiling power like One For All originally was. I don't know. Give me your suggestions in the comments. But one way or another, while they're still being experimented on, Lucky finds a way to escape and they make it to UA, where they're taken in by Recovery Girl, who's essentially their mom. And then we know the rest. They go to high school with Toshinori and they fall in love, and they go to college and then they have a falling out where Lucky leaves America to go back to Japan with Recovery Girl, but they're captured by All For One, who continues to experiment on them because he doesn't want all the money he spent experimenting on this teenager to go to waste. For some reason, he thinks it's a good idea to give them even more power, and then they escape again! Lucky and All Might reunite, and then they defeat All For One, and then they live happily ever after, and they have a little baby boy, and his name is Yukito, and I will put some pictures of him on the screen because I'm obsessed with him. Moral of the story is, no matter what OC you make, no matter how cringe or overpowered you make it, you will never be Cure Comet. I'm just kidding. I would really like to see you make an OC that's more powerful and more convoluted than this one. Originally, I wasn't going to reveal any of Lucky's backstory because I was gonna write a whole fanfic on AO3 that went in depth, and it would be all complete and everything like that. And then I got, I think, like 5 chapters in before I completely gave up and stopped writing it. I would still like to write it eventually. I just have no time right now, so you get the director's cut. Some more fun facts about Lucky Might. Like I said, they have a son. His name is Yukito, and he is just a little baby. And they are also married. Their anniversary is December the 7th, and I celebrate it every year. This past year, in celebration of their anniversary, I got a commission from Ono Gizmo on Twitter. You should go check them out. They're super talented, make some of my favorite All Might art in the world. I'm so incredibly jealous. So for those of you, specifically Gotcha Love 5318, who were worried that I had forgotten about Lucky Might, that would never happen. Anyways, do any of you have any experience in the My Hero Academia fandom? Leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear about your OCs, your experiences in the fandom, what your favorite moments are. Thank you so much to the people who paid for my research for me to build a time machine so I could go back in time to 1963 to stop the assassination of John F. Kennedy. My $10 patrons, Puntastic Artist, Little Wolfine, Viyun, Gar, Zigo Buzz, Speckadoodle, Billy Lover, Neko Jack, and Tyree West. I did that all in one breath that time. As well as all of my other patrons, all of my subscribers, everybody who watches, likes, and comments on this video. Thank you once again to Millinote for continuing to support the channel and sponsoring this video. Let me know if you want to see more of these discussion type videos rather than the usual commentary on a speed paint. Allegedly, I am Inkiio. Oh my god, I'm gonna put this after the outro, but I just found this old art I did in like 2020 of ship art between All Might and Twilight Sparkle. And I will see you very soon.